What's going on, everyone? Welcome to yet another episode of the official BeatzCoin podcast. I hope you guys are having an amazing, fantastic, wonderful, spectacular week, because I know that we are, and we have a lot going on. Tell me, what's new with you guys? This would be a great time to have like an actual radio show where I could just have people call in and just chat. But since we don't have that feature, let me tell you about what we have going on. I'll take a few minutes to chat, and then I'll introduce the guest for today's episode. So let's start with BeatzCoin and the Vibrabid platform. We have reached almost the halfway point of our milestones. I'm sure some of you have seen some sneak peeks of how the platform's going to look like. Of course, we're focusing on ease of use and bringing mass adoption. The only way that's going to happen is if it's easy to use, because we still get a lot of people who are not into crypto saying, oh, this is too complicating. But we are making a lot of progress. We've got some new team members that are coming in to join our artist relation team that I am leading up. And I'm very excited about that, to have some great minds who are ready to reach out to musicians and artists to get them on the platform and tell them the benefits of it and the benefits of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in general. Another thing that we have launching, hopefully by the end of this week, is our artist endorsement campaign, the subdomain, which is going to be specifically geared to attract artists. And that's going to be awesome, because we'll have a video there. It's going to be clear, concise, easy, straight to the point. The goal is for an artist to read it and take 2-3 minutes reading it, and then say, you know what, I want to be on the Vibrabid platform. That's the goal of it, and I think we're going to do a really good job with that. On another note, I've been listening to a couple podcasts this week, and I want to give them a shout out, even though, they don't need the shout out. They're way bigger. They're way bigger than this podcast. Goes to Off the Chain by Anthony Pompliano, I think is his name. Man, he has some great content for cryptocurrency, and always a interesting episode. And then another new podcast by our boy Michael, aka Shill Nye. Most of you guys know him, the Evolvement podcast. I started listening to a few episodes there, and he does a really great job. He's really good on crypto Twitter, and his podcasts are really nice too. So I wish him the best, and I know he's doing really well. But other than that, let's just straight to the action here. I spoke with Eyez today. She's an artist and an actress in the Bay Area. We talked about her life growing up, since she's been close to the music industry since she was a child. We talked about record labels, reality TV, and of course, how the BeatzCoin podcast is going to change the world. So let's listen to her single, Still a Rainbow, as we introduce her.
It's been too long, I'm ready, I'ma get it. You thought I was gone, since you thought I lost. You couldn't change me, I'm still the same me. You blew the house down, but I'm still a rainbow. I let you own it, I'm coming out. I'm ready and I'm here. I bet you own it, I'm coming out. I'm ready and I'm here.
All right, Eyez, we're good to go. We're recording. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
It's so good to finally get the chance to interview you. I know we've been kind of planning it for the last couple of weeks, so thank you for being patient. We had the Nitron event in San Fran, so that's where you're from, right? Or are you across the bay?
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I live not too far away from San Francisco.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, I live mainly I'm mainly from the East Bay, so like Oakland, Berkeley, and San Leandro.
That's
So
the
those
green
are
bridge that you got to pass to get there, right?
Green Bridge.
Or
It's
I'm
just
off.
the regular. It's just the regular bridge.
I thought it was
There's
green.
two
I
of
mean, I know,
them.
obviously we know the Golden Gate Bridge, which is red, but I could
Yeah,
have
that's
sworn there
the
was a
one
red
near
bridge.
Sausalito, I think.
Okay,
No, wait a
okay.
minute. No, that's the regular bridge. Yeah.
The Golden
You
Gate,
know,
that's the
I don't
famous
even.
one, the main one. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah, that's the one I live next to.
Hey, well, we were jamming out to Still a Rainbow last night when we were doing our listening series podcast. And
Oh, okay.
I gotta say, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I love the song, but it's kind of more of a chick song, like a girl song. But like the whole time, I'm like, da-na-na-na-na, and like the rhythm just gets stuck in my head.
Oh, thank you.
So that's awesome. So, Eyez, tell us a little about yourself. I know the first time we talked, you said you started in music at a very, very young age. So why don't you go back and kind of tell us your story?
So, like, I've always been singing. Singing has always been a part of my life with music. My mom and her two sisters were singers. They're also music teachers as well. My mom giving private piano lessons in her home, and also my auntie giving private piano and voice lesson in her home. And I was always, sometimes I would go with them to their schools. I mean, they would be doing like Michael Jackson plays and everything, and I'm just a little toddler, but I still was around it, and I was always singing. I had to have, little kids that sing in front of teddy bears.
Mm-hmm.
I took it a step up. I forced my family to watch me sing.
So you had the teddy bear audience and your family there supporting you.
Yes. And so when I moved in with my auntie, I was just got to be more and more in music, and I even begged them when I was very, very young to I'm talking about like not even in preschool yet. I begged for this keyboard because it was I associated it with Michael Jackson, so I guess he was doing a promo with Casio or Yamaha, probably Yamaha.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I cried and cried and cried. I begged for it, and then I got it. And then it came with a Michael Jackson book. And then when I opened up the book, I said, I can't read. I was like, I gotta learn how to read. And like the notes and stuff. And then in preschool, I got my first official gig, and also right before that, I got discovered by a former reality star. I don't know her name, so
because this was when you were a little kid. You're like a little kid prodigy, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that, but maybe that might be the technical term for that, but I wouldn't consider myself a prodigy. But she wanted to represent us, and so she got me in a acting classes. So that's like where the acting part comes in as well. And then by the time I did my first gig, people kept asking me to do more and more.
I know growing up, obviously you mentioned Michael Jackson. What's your favorite genre growing up, and like who were those musical influences, as you grew up, and then kind of tell me what you're shifting to now, like who do you admire now?
That's a good question. Okay, so growing up, I loved practically every kind of music. I wasn't allowed to listen to hip hop or rap, but a couple of rap songs did seep in. It wasn't a big deal. When I was young, I could only listen to appropriate, music. Not when I say appropriate, not necessarily always the lyrics, but they had to sing correctly. No off key.
Oh, wow.
Or singing out of tune singers. I had to listen to the good stuff. I mean, something appropriate. There's a difference between one or two mess ups than somebody who really can't sing. They shouldn't be on there. So
that's interesting. You said, because when you first said that, like I was thinking like had to be like not holy but clean music with no bad words and stuff. But you're taught that's how like man. Okay, cool. I get it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
So I was very open to music, but of course I love pop music because it was kind of new to me. But I definitely listened to a lot of classical music growing up. Because my mom, she's so smart and she loves classical music, and they studied music. So of course I listen to whatever it is that they say in regards to music. Mozart, Beethoven, Liszt, Schubert was one of my favorites. Of course Handel, and so it was a lot of classical music. Um, but when I got older, I started listening to quote unquote cool music. But the problem is,
Quote unquote cool.
sometimes when you're a Christian, um, people say things like, "Oh, it's bad music, it's evil," and they really don't know what they're talking about. So that made me feel guilty for listening to the quote unquote cool music. So yeah, there was some rap in there. I was listening to, the hip hop and R&B stations a lot, but I just fell in love
Right.
with more and more with the popular. Like when I say popular, it's not. I was listening to hip hop and R&B. I know I'm a pop singer, but I just had to listen to it, and I went to concerts and stuff. So like it's mainly, so after that I would mainly say like R&B and pop, and but now I'm more like strictly hip hop. Like when I say hip hop, mainly like the hard bass kind of hip hop.
Right, right, right.
So right now, yeah, right now I listen to Bad Baby. She just dropped a song yesterday called Bestie. I love that song. So like stuff like Too Short, Bad Baby, um of course, a lot of the Bay Area music because there's a lot of bounce to it.
Hmm.
I just have like I have to listen to something a little upbeat. It's so hard to find like good dance songs,
Right.
And then you listen to some of these rappers. Like when you listen to them, they didn't write it, but it sounds good, so you listen to it
Hmm.
anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You could
Yeah.
you could tell
So
that for sure. And I mean, I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of you, and like you perform. You don't just sing. Like I could tell you're into it and you're performing. So you can really appreciate that from the pop music because it gets you going. Kind of like your
thank
song,
you.
like the Still a Rainbow. That song gets you going, man. It doesn't matter if.
Oh,
But
thank you.
so let's talk a little bit about your career. Let's because I know you do acting too, but let's focus on the music side.
Yeah.
You told us a little bit about a kid as when you were a kid, but let's kind of get into your older years once once you became an adult. What career moves did you kind of make there as far as music went? And then you could tell me about acting too.
So a lot of my career was when I was a kid. So when I was in my late teens, I was in Oakland Youth Chorus, and I started recording, professionally in the studio. And it took me until I was an adult to actually, move farther. Because one thing about this business, um, nobody will actually tell you what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna actually help you unless they have offer a service. You get lucky, you find a service, and you pay them to help you. But nobody really helps you in this business, and so
And
that
there's no
kind of
cookie
stalled
cutter
my.
blueprint either, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yes, you're right. But I'm talking about basic stuff like copywriting your songs
Okay.
and publishing. Like all that stuff kind of makes you officially an artist. You know what I mean? And it's messed up
Good point.
because producers make themselves out to be like, "Oh, you can always ask me for help for all of the business end." But, you know, if you're a producer, don't say you're going to do that and you don't know how. You know what I mean? And you have to learn how to be patient with people. So, like, a lot of it, is seemingly stalled, like, publicly, but behind the scenes, I was still working. When I was an adult, I just didn't get to do the type of stuff that I wanted to do. And then I started performing at the Oakland Metro. They had a open mic, and what attracted me to that one particular open mic was the type of people that were there. They were just strictly industry people. Like, of course, there were some fans, but there was like, everybody was like either affiliated with a local record label or promoters or rappers. So, and there was always that vibe there. So I knew I had to be there, and I knew that, and the crazy thing is about that, like, I didn't even want to be there. I was really just wandering around Jack London Square, and this man named Tomcat, he kept saying, "You can sing." No, you can. He wanted me to do some poetry, and he literally like pulled me in there, but I didn't like how I was dressed, so I came the next day, and I just wasn't prepared, like, but I never stopped performing, like, in the public eye, again, unless like there was a real reason that I couldn't. So shout out to Tomcat. He like literally forced me to go up there,
And that was the moment where you decided to keep going, right?
No, that's the moment I decided this is where I have to be if I want to keep performing. You know what I mean? Because when you're a teenage entertainer, regardless to how big you are, let's take the platinum selling albums and all that stuff out of it. People are taking advantage of you. They're using you because you're a kid, you're cute, and your smile sells. Because a lot of times when you're a kid, people don't care too much that you can sing. You can't sound bad, but people are like, "Oh, look at the pretty teenager." You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh," and then we got taken advantage of a lot, because I'm not going to say with who this group is, but when we were performing, I now that I'm older, I realize we did get paid for that show, but we have to pay to be a part of your group. You know what I mean? So it's not that is completely unfair. It's just they would do things that now as an adult, I can see we were being exploited. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it has to happen because that's why you see so many people. They're not just popping out of nowhere. A lot of these artists start out when they're kids, A lot of these famous people, they're like in Disney, like in Hollywood, like from early age, and then they just keep boosting them on up and running through their cycle. And we all know, like, they take advantage of them. And we don't even have to go into details on how far they take advantage of them, but we know that, a lot of corrupt stuff goes on in the industry. It's sad, but it's true. You kind of got to find your way.
Yeah, and that's probably why I like Bad Baby so much, aside from her lyrics and her music. She is very young. She's 15, and she's taking control of her life and her career. She was given an opportunity, and she took it, you know what I mean? And that's probably why, like, a lot of times I watch, like, young entertainers, like Dance Moms. I was on a similar show when I was a teenager as well. Before any of those kind of reality shows, like, existed, I was on, well, no, I probably shouldn't say the name on air, but, I was in a similar show, you know what I mean? So I sometimes I get attracted to the young entertainers.
Right. Because it was your element like at one point, right?
Yeah, I know what it's like, so yeah. I forgot the original question. Oh, yeah, how is it like as an adult? So I hope I answered it. I didn't, huh?
No, yeah, you got it. Well, okay. and now tell us about what you're doing as far as acting goes.
Acting, well, I've been doing a couple of projects. My latest one is on my YouTube channel, The Morning After. That's a short film I did.
Plug it in. What's your YouTube channel?
Oh, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Eyez Pop Music. That's EYEZ Pop Music.
Got it.
So you could go on there, and I have this movie called The Morning After, and I recently completed a web series called Year 8. And you can watch it as movie form, but it will be kind of long. but there is I actually was having a giveaway, and I think I have one DVD left. So if you are interested in receiving this DVD, my website is itseyez.com, and at the bottom of my front page, It says, would you like to join the emailing list? And if you join my emailing list, I will send you a copy of my movie/web series Year 8.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll definitely
Yeah.
link that in the description and shout out, give you a shout out on our Twitter account for BeatzCoin. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, definitely. So you mentioned like record labels, and I believe you're signed to one right now, right?
Yes.
And we don't have to go into specifics with your particular record label, but just record labels in general. What is your opinion about them, the good and the bad? Because some people hate them, some people think it's a real necessity. I think I'm personally in between. I feel that there are certain things that a record label can be very helpful for, but at the same time, I'm always empowering the independent artist because, there's so much that you can do on your own and to become successful.
Yeah. So how I feel about it is there's a lot of misconceptions about it. It's interesting. I was trying to talk to I mentor young kids who want to be in show business, and they don't usually have good questions, and because they're nervous,
Right.
And I wanted to bring that point up with them, but they was like, "Who do you know that's famous?" I'm like, "Okay, you don't have any questions about record deals."
It's
So
like,
what
come
I will
on,
say,
ask the right questions that are going to affect your livelihood as an adult.
yeah, your career. So in case any of them are listening, I will say there are different types of record deals. There's so many different types. A lot of times you hear people complaining about their record deal. Usually what they're complaining about is the whole 50% thing of publishing. But if you sign a contract that has that in there and you say and you agree to give them 50% of your publishing, they're probably going to be promoting you. So let's say let's just keep the numbers low. Let's say because of your publisher, you made $1,000, but without your publisher, you probably wouldn't have made 20.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be honest with you, because they don't pay. Because most of the when it comes to publishing, they don't pay you unless you hit a certain amount.
Right.
So I'm using smaller numbers right now. So if you don't want to agree to that, then don't sign it and just know what you're missing out on. See, it would be wrong to get a publisher if you share your publishing with someone and then they don't promote your song, then that is wrong. Because you're doing it under the impression that they're going to help you, right? So
correct.
That's usually the big misunderstanding. And really, in order to do that, you don't necessarily have to be a record company. That's just publishing. So, but there are so many different types of record deals. Yeah,
that's a really good point. And I mean, they can do whatever you need assistance with, if you need the publishing, if you need the promotion, distribution is honestly not a factor anymore because it's so easy to
digitally
upload your own stuff. And that's one of the things that we're focusing on as a company is how do we create a platform that benefits everyone. So we found that blockchain technology is going to make things so much easier for the musician. And now we have a way to incentivize the listener and the artist to actually the listener to listen to new music, and the artist, to be able to know their worth and put their music on their on a platform that's going to pay them what they deserve, because the streaming royalties are ridiculous. So what do you know? I know. Did you say that you did one like a performance like at a blockchain event or something?
Yes, I did one performance, and I had never. I didn't know. I thought blockchain was like just the name of the event. It was, but I didn't know exactly what it was, and this actually wasn't that long ago. So they did a lot of talking at this show. But the good thing about this show is they talk, and right when you get a little interested in it, it's time to listen to music. So I tried to learn a little bit of it. I mean, I kept talking to people, but I didn't understand. You know,
Right.
I did
It can
not
be complex.
understand.
See, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, you at least were able to know that blockchain technology is what is behind Bitcoin, and that's what they're starting to use now. Like you at least know that basic part, right?
Now I do, yeah.
Now I do. Well, see, here that's not important. Here's the important thing. The important thing is that you make what you deserve, right? And that you're able to not be taken advantage of, that you can be independent, and that you can market yourself the easiest way possible. So that's one of our missions as a company, is to really educate artists about the benefits of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, but at the same time not overwhelm them. Because if I start spitting, hey, send me your address so I can, transfer you some coins and the hash rates of this, it's all this complication. Like when you hear it for the first time, like when I first bought crypto, I was like so nervous because I'm like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Because you get these long addresses that are encrypted codes, and which it's good to learn about it, but the important thing is to find a solution. And in the future, there's going to be so many things that run through blockchain technology, and you're not even going to know it because it's going to be made so much easier to use. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're creating a platform where it's easy for you to understand what are the benefits of crypto, and then you can put your music on there. You can set your prices for streaming, for purchasing. We're focused on educating the artists because let's be honest, like a lot of artists, they just give out their stuff for free and they're just hoping they get noticed, and then, one of their songs blows up and they make money that way. But that's a very, 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 very small fraction of people that actually happens to,
Yeah.
So imagine now that you have some true followers and, they're willing to pay $1 or $2 worth of cryptocurrency or cash, like for your songs. And then they're willing to pay full price for your album or whatever experience you may be offering. And then, all that money or a majority of that money goes to you instead of like their royalty share of streaming. And then now let's say this, like there's a ton of people that don't know about you. So let's say now you can spend some cryptocurrency, some money to be able to get more listeners. So let's say you have, 1,000 BeatzCoin, for example, then you'd be able to say, okay, I'm going to pay for, 1,000 people to listen to my song. Each person's going to get 1 BeatzCoin for listening to my song. For example, right? We're singing with low numbers. All of a sudden, you had 1,000 people listen to your song. Let's say just 100 people liked it. And then say out of the 100 that liked it, like 10 became followers. They're going to go and they're going to share that with their friends. So essentially what we're doing is we're creating a music ecosystem within our platform. And not only are we going to reward the artist, but the listeners get rewarded too. You see what I'm saying? Do you get the concept?
Yeah.
So
it's like you get help, and then like you help them back, kind of. So it's like kind of like a company. Yeah.
Yeah, because like how are you going to get popular on Spotify or Apple Music if you don't have like, there's no way to tell them like, hey, can you put my song up here? Well, here you can say, all right, I'm going to spend, $5, $1, whatever it comes out to be. And I want this many people to listen to my song. And then at the same time, we'll have like awesome features like being able to tip. So if you're trying to crowdfund, say, hey, I need this much for my next album or my next music video, you can have a fund for that. So there's a lot of awesome things that we're putting together. But the main thing is just not overwhelming the artists with all this like technology mumbo jumbo, and just getting them on the platform and kind of coaching them through. So that's what we're really trying to do.
Cool. Yeah, so I've definitely learned a little bit more right now.
And I tried to keep it
So,
simple. I definitely tried to keep it simple.
well, yeah, you explained it a little bit more simpler than what I've heard because, like I said, I did hear about it, and it was just like a lot of stuff coming at me, and I'm trying to catch on. But, so yeah, you did break it down a little bit. Well, you break down like your specific platform, though, right?
Right. Yeah, once you get into to cryptos, there's all sorts of projects, but it's still new. I mean, there's still a lot of learning to do. But that's good that you're kind of open to the idea and you just see the immediate benefits just from a high level point of view.
Yeah.
What would you think artists need to be more successful? Actually, no, we were talking the other day and I wanted you to mention this because I think you made a very good point. I just remembered. You were talking about, and I just forgot. Oh, you were talking about true fans and just followers, because we were talking about like because you did you had a stint on
The Barbary Coast.
the Barbary Coast. Yeah. Okay. So for people who don't know what that is, tell them what it is.
Okay, so basically, the Barbary Coast Review is like a musical about. Well, it's a music review about San Francisco from like the 1800s through like maybe 1900 or like 1900 until the Great Earthquake in San Francisco. There are actually people still living from that earthquake, but anyway. So I played Madame Toy, who was actually the first Chinese. Well, she was the second Chinese person to come here to
You played
San
a Chinese
Francisco,
person?
Yeah, but she was
Wait,
actually like the second.
wait. I'm sorry. Let's back. So how did that work?
I auditioned and I got it. That's
Man,
how it worked.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
but I was
cool.
once you study Madame Toy, like I was so honored to play her. You know what I mean? So she was actually like a self-made millionaire. She was like the first Chinese like millionaire in San Francisco. She came here with nothing, and she retired an old lady. So she died when she was 99 years old. She moved to what is it, Santa Clara, I think. She moved to Santa Clara. Yeah, so there's only like 2 pictures of her around. There might be a couple more because, that's around the time when cameras were new still.
So you had to do a lot of kind of research to be able to play the part?
Yeah, well, I do that as an actress. I mean,
Right.
I could have just went up there and just said some lines, but I wanted to understand her, and I'm very grateful to Madame Toy, but because of her, I'm more popular. And I'm not gonna lie, it felt good to step in her shoes. Like the first, one of the first nights I performed as her, I looked so pretty. First of all, the first one, because my costume got all bent out after that particular night, and my wig that I had on, it was like a up 1800s dude with the curl down the side, and I'm like, I felt like I had her aura, and I liked this. Yeah, she's so pretty, she's so sexy, but I'm just so happy. So she was a madam, she was a prostitute and a madam. And, I learned so much about her, and even down to the way she dressed. My costume, like the skirt of my costume was a replica of one of her famous skirts that she already had. And the lady who did the costume, she loved my costume more, because it looked real. It looked like her. Now, the top of my costume, it got bent out of shape, so, quickly. But it lasted until the night that I did, the performance I'm talking to you about. So she was just so pretty, and and the cute thing is with it, because the can dancing was big in the prostitution back then, but because of her skirt, I didn't do any of that. So I imagine she wouldn't have, because I was gonna do it just for the show element, but it didn't work because the skirt is too long and pretty. It's not a can dress, So I'm
Wow.
just so grateful that I got to play her as a character, you know, and bring her back in a way, like bring her more attention because there were so many Chinese Americans in the audience who didn't know who she was,
Wow. Okay.
you know.
And
Yeah.
and I mean that obviously you stand it out there, and that inevitably brought you attention. So what going to what you were telling me about having
Mhm.
the followers kind of transition, you said something very very frank when it comes to getting fans and followers for your music career.
Well, there's what I was saying about that is there's a difference between your fans and people who are fans of what you're doing. So with the Barbary Coast Review, I got a lot of fans, like not fans, but during the night, fans who want to take pictures. You got fans who just run up to you. They're excited to talk to you and meet you and shake your hand. But they're fans really of the show. So there's a difference between like a person who is a fan of
Hmm.
you and a fan of your show. You know what I mean? So yeah, those because you have to remember when you do a musical, it could be a family tradition. You know, people might come to see you every year around their birthday. You know, so it's like special for the whole family. And when but you as an artist, that's different. So, I actually did do some extra hustling while I was in the Barbary Coast Review to make sure I try to capitalize on, what I'm doing, try to bring more attention to me as an artist, so
Right.
that I'm not just known for doing this is that I'm still a recording artist. So yeah, that was kind of what I was saying about that. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, yeah. So essentially, I mean, even if you get a quote unquote break, it's not a guarantee because if the show or whatever you're doing has more popularity than you yourself, like you still have a lot of work to do. You can't count on that. We were talking about
Yeah.
like American Idol and like those type of shows. If you're on that show, that doesn't guarantee you squat. Even if you are a good singer and you don't win, it doesn't guarantee you anything.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to work hard. It depends on you. So yeah, you actually can compare that in a way with something like American Idol. It's the same concept. You're on a popular show, but what are you going to do by the time the show ends? You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't just be like, oh yeah, I was in this hit show, but what are you doing now? So while
Hmm.
you're doing that, you still need to work double. Because there were nights at the Barbary Coast Review when they left, I still hung around. You know what I mean, to sing for a different show. Or at least try to shake some hands and stay a little bit longer. So I could
Yeah.
get my song played, and it did. It worked out in its own way. I ended up performing afterwards too, so on a different day, with a different show shortly after, because it's important to keep your face before the public, and it's important to let people know who you are besides what you're known for, because you never know what you're going to get famous for in this industry. Like people
True.
call it a viral moment now, but I mean before that term, there is other things. Like you could be popular for being in a viral video. You could be famous for
Hmm.
being in a musical or on a television show. It's like, but that doesn't define you. You're more than that. So you have to work double time for people who are interested in just you. You might wear orange hats, on your show, and people who love orange might be attracted to you. But if you're more of a blue or a pink person, when they go to your website, yeah, you could have that picture of you in the orange, but put that picture of you in the pink and blue on the side too, so people know the difference between a character on a show and you as an artist. But still be happy and grateful for that because it widened your platform, and you want to please your fans. But you know what I mean? This is also you as an artist, so you got to work double time.
That's a very good point. I want to go back
Yeah, thank
to
you.
Yeah, I want to go back to what we were talking about, like American Idol, because when we were talking the other day,
Oh, okay.
you had a very unique opinion on that show. So I kind of want you to share your perspective
I
on
got no
shows
opinion.
like that, please.
Yes. So, I think what we were talking about was you mentioned that they have a contract that they sign to say if your face is shown and you blow up, we get to tell people this is where you got your star, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, and I think what we were talking about is because you said something else, and then I was like, well, some people don't understand. That's just kind of how those things work.
Yeah.
Because I was in a similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I asked you because when Roy told me about you, like he told me about he introduced me to a few people, and I was like, wait, were you the one who was on American Idol? You're like, no.
No.
And then that's when you told me, and I was like, huh, interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was in a similar thing. Like they basically wanted if you win what they had like a mock American Idol contest, and you basically sign a contract saying that when you go to American Idol, we get to say we helped you get on American Idol. So, and ironically, American Idol's contract might be similar.
The contest
So when
before
you
the
get
contest.
your record, yeah, yeah. So it's like when you win American Idol, or when you make it in the top 10, top 5. We get to say that we did this for you for being on our show. So yeah, but that's actually nothing uncommon. It's just people the type of people American Idol attracts are amateurs. So contracts like that are not that unfamiliar. You know what I mean? Maybe the way they do it might be kind of aggressive.
Yeah, you're right. Because you're right. They are amateur. They're not pros. Like, so they don't know about the industry. They just want to be on TV and get famous and sing.
Exactly. So they're not expecting to sign a bunch of contracts when you get there saying all this stuff. But that's the difference between the real and the fake. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm actually, I just Googled it, and there's like 7 American Idol contestants tell all. Like, I am definitely going to read that later.
Oh, wow. Well, see, it's like one of those things. Some of those things might be shocking to somebody who's not in the business. You know what I mean? But if you're just a regular, when you have to take your emotions out of when you look at stuff. Of course, when you see a man, I watch this show with my mom. I love Kelly Clarkson. Okay, but the show is more than just Kelly Clarkson. At the end of the day, the show is an avenue for people to make money. This is advertisement. I mean, basically, whenever you watch television, that's what it is. Somebody's advertising a company. You know what I mean? It's a business, So if you take the entertainment value out of it and take your emotions out of it, it's just another job. It's just another business or a career or, something like that. So.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I just pulled up right now. Like, they have a super long contract, like 13 sections. Like, it'd take me a while to even find some good information in here. But about your music career, you've won awards, and you were in the Grand Royal Music Awards. Tell us a little bit about that honor and what you won it for.
Well, I won it for my song "Still a Rainbow," and
it's okay, you can brag a little.
Yeah. So yeah, I won. When I went up there, the DJ played my song, and I was like, whoa, thank you. And oh my God, I forgot who to thank. Like, I remember to thank my mom and all that, but then I was just rambling because I forgot. And then as soon as I was about to be done, I was like, oh yeah, Bentley Records, shout out to Bentley Records, the people who put out my song. Like, duh.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, every time I go, like if we go live, like on Periscope or whatever, like when we were at this event, I'm like people are like, oh, let's do a quick interview. I'm like, okay. And then like you forget like half of what you say, but that's how it is. That's awesome. So, do you do a lot of writing?
Yes, I do. I write a lot of my songs. I'm definitely open to hearing other people's takes on lyrics, but actually, I take that back. I used to be open to it. I'm not really open to it anymore.
Now you just like writing your own stuff.
Well, it's just I don't think that I would ever meet anybody whose lyrics I would actually want to. I hate to. No, I'm coming off kind of arrogant. I'm not trying to. It's just for a long time I was open to working with other songwriters, but it never happened. But at the end of the day, why get somebody else to write your songs when you write songs yourself? With
Right.
me, it was more of a collaboration kind of aspiration. It had nothing to do with my ability. It's just that I just wanted to hear someone else's take on how you would say this or how you would say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. Excuse me. Wrong time. I have to edit that out. That cough out.
That's okay.
For me, I always thought that it's kind of weird to, in my perspective, it's kind of weird to like sing but sing someone else's words. You know, it's not very often that I would be as passionate. I mean, I have some friends that write really well, and like I totally jive with it. I would, sing it if I had that talent. But then again, I'm like, okay, why don't that's their song, why don't they sing it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've definitely written for artists in the past.
I guess to each
That's
their
when
own.
I
Everyone has a
trusted them.
different opinion.
Huh?
I guess to each their own. Like everyone has their own opinion. I mean, I'm kind of leaning on your side with the way you feel about it.
Oh yeah, well, but it's not. I mean, the kind of lyrics that I write, like when I get paid to write for other people, it's customized towards them. Like I used to produce, like right now I only produce my own music, but I used to produce other artists when I had a studio back then. But also in regards to lyrics, I can write lyrics for other people, but I kind of, what I do to make it customized, I kind of use what they would say. You know what I mean? I kind of write about something, how they feel, or write a song about them, But I kind of don't. It's not that I don't do it no more. It's just there was this one person I never met, and I was going through his manager, and I gave him my lyrics, and I didn't make a copy, and so that kind of ended out badly. And then I kind of knew better. I knew better, but I should have. I should have not been as trusting. And I'm not usually that trusting. It's just that
they just sometimes
people
moment.
are good. Yeah, well, and also their mind games had to do with it too. You know what I mean? And the jerk never called me. Man, he was in a rock band. And like, oh my God, and rock bands are known for writing their own stuff. Like, that just lets you know what kind of low-level artist this is. Like, rock bands are known for writing their own stuff. You can't write your own stuff. There's a difference between being open-minded and wanting to collaborate or wanting to hear somebody else's take or opinion, but, like, to write your whole song and you're a rock band. But anyway, I mean, like, I definitely learned from that experience. So from now on, it's like, contract because, the manager was trying to, make the contract seem like it was like, oh, it's no big deal. He kept erasing the contract.
Geez. Well, see, that's another cool thing that in the future is going to be huge about blockchain technology is the ability to write what's called a smart contract. Definitely look that up on your spare time because those things right there are going to be like automatic execution. So you can't get, cheated out from, your share of the deal. So it's going to be that in itself is going to be a game changer in the music industry as well, especially when it comes to, copyrights and things like that.
Yeah, the smart contract, that sounds, anything that makes contracts more accessible is good.
Right.
Yeah, in the industry, sometimes it's not, people kind of go off the vibe or the moment. So you want to catch that. So if you have a smart contract, you want to do a song, smart contract, okay, right here? All right, let's go.
And
you know
then it's registered on the blockchain. It can't be corrupted. It can't be adjusted. It's on there, like boom, stamp of approval. Everyone has it. So definitely look up what is blockchain on YouTube and look up
what I was thinking.
Well, I mean it is, but it's gonna get to the point where it's made easy. It's like we're using our computers, right? And we may play a game or use an application, but there's all these like codings behind that, right? Like they're all like, I mean, you think about the computer nerds, they're like or like typing really fast. Like we don't know what the heck that is. We just see the application in the game or whatever. We just use it, right? So, we just see the pretty part. We don't see everything behind it. And that's how it's going to get with this type of technology. And in some parts it already is. And it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, like think about the first Windows computer or the first Mac and look where we're at now.
Yeah.
So Eyez, what do you have going on? Like what's up with your music career? Do you have like an album, an EP? I think you just have the Still a Rainbow song on like the major platforms, right?
Mhm. And if anyone is listening in Asia or anything like that, so my music is being re-released. Still a Rainbow is being re-released. I'm not done yet. And it's going to be re-released on Bongo Boy Records compilation. So, and that means if you're in Asia, it will be easier for you to find, because I know sometimes in Asia it's harder to find American websites or go to America, get things, straight from the United States. So it's going to be made easier. So if you live in Japan or China, thank you for supporting my career. This is like my third or fourth compilation that I did with Bongo Boy Records. So shout out to Monique Grimm and Bongo Boy Records. Thank you for having me. And they will be re-releasing it very, very soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Asian markets, man, the Asians over there, they love music and they really spend a lot of time listening to it. So that's a huge market. There's people that, they never make it in here in the US, but somehow they make it in Asia. It's crazy. And the cool thing is they like all types of music. They're not just like rap, hip hop, R&B, rock. No, they like everything. But do you have any other do you have like a full album coming out anytime soon? Are you working on something?
No. Maybe a little bit. There's definitely some songs that I perform a lot, but people are like, "Oh, when are you going to release that song?" Well, I might be doing that, but I'll never tell.
Why don't you release one exclusively on our platform? And
that's a good idea.
Boom. See, girl?
That's a good idea.
Yep.
That's a very good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have our artist endorsement campaign, and you're very talented. I know that you'll probably be one of the top ones there. And, we'll get you started, and you see how the world of crypto will embrace you.
Okay, cool. That sounds awesome.
All right.
And I think I know. Okay, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I know a song it would be if I were to do it strictly on your platform. I think I know a song it would be too.
All right. Well, we'll leave the suspense right here, but you and me will stay in touch. We'll stay in touch. We got to get this word out. I need you to help me out with this, or help us out, because this is going to be the next big thing. And, as an early adopter, you're going to be a huge benefiter from it. So I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing a little bit about your story. It was a really good time talking to you. And I'm just happy I have another connection with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Any closing remarks?
Closing remarks? I don't want to mess it up, so no. Sorry. I was going to say something, but I'm not good. I don't want to mess it up, so never mind.
What do you mean mess it up?
But you guys will know where to find me, because I think we're onto something, and if you want that new release, I think you better stay tuned.
There you go. All right. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys taking the time yet again to listen to another episode. I had a great time talking with Eyez, and I look forward to artists and artists like her using our platform. But we've got to spread the message. So thank you so much for sharing the podcast. I did see a boost in numbers for these last couple of episodes. So keep doing that, because like I said before, this is a community-driven project. No credit goes to us. All the credit goes to everyone who supports us and believes in us. You know, a lot of my interviews and people that I've met have all come through connections within the community. So you never know how powerful the community is until you really see everything that it's been able to do for you. And I personally have been a benefactor from that, being able to meet a lot of amazing people along this way. It's truly been an awesome journey being part of the Tron community and crypto, and now, you know, connecting that with music has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to continue doing so. So guys, thank you again, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.